The first thing you notice is the sound. Not screaming, not violence, just the low mechanical groan of a steel door, hydraulic, ancient, indifferent, sealing behind you like the lid of something buried. It is 5:47 in the morning. The temperature inside the processing corridor is 61 degrees Fahrenheit. It never changes. Not in summer, not in December. The facility regulates itself with the precision of a machine that has no concept of comfort, only function. You are 23 years old. You passed the written exam with an 81. You scored average on the physical assessment. You are not exceptional. The sergeant who processes your paperwork doesn't look at your face. He looks at your number, CO-1144. That is what you are now, not a name, a code, a slot in a schedule that was written before you applied and will be filled again after you leave. Your uniform is stiff. The fabric smells of industrial bleach and something older underneath, something you don't yet have a name for, but you will. They walk you through orientation in 40 minutes. You are shown the emergency extraction protocol, the contraband search procedure, the incident report format. You are shown where the defibrillator is mounted. You are told never to walk alone in C block after 9 p.m. You are not told why. The facility holds 1,847 men. It operates on 3 shifts, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. You will be assigned to the 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. rotation in General Population Tier 3, Building B. The officer who walks you to your post has been here for 11 years. He says 4 words to you: don't let them smell fear. Then he leaves, and you stand there, at the edge of a corridor that stretches 180 feet in front of you. 62 cells, each one occupied. Eyes already watching from behind bars before the morning count has even begun. You don't move yet, but the system is already moving around you, through you, and entirely without your permission. The first year, you make mistakes you don't report. A contraband item you miss during a pat-down, a threat you don't document because documenting it means paperwork, and paperwork means a supervisor review, and a supervisor review on your 3rd month means questions about your competency. So you swallow it. You note it mentally. You file it in the part of your brain that is quietly building its own archive, unofficial, unverifiable, and entirely yours. By month 8, you have learned the architecture of silence. There is an unspoken agreement in maximum security. It is not written anywhere. It is passed through posture, through the length of a pause, through who stands next to whom in the break room. The agreement is simple. The facility runs on a balance, not justice, not rehabilitation, balance. The moment that balance shifts when one tier becomes too volatile, when one block feels the administration leaning too hard, it tips. And when it tips, people get hurt. Sometimes inmates, sometimes officers. You learn to read the balance. By year 2, you are moved to C block, the one they warned you about. C block houses the long sentence population, men doing 25 to life. Men for whom time has stopped having the texture of urgency. They are patient in a way that the general population is not. They study patterns. They notice when an officer flinches. They notice when an officer doesn't. You stop flinching. It takes 4 months. But one morning you walk the tier and you realize they're not watching you the way they used to. Something has settled. Not respect, exactly. Recognition. You have become a known quantity, a fixture, something to calculate around rather than test. You file your first use of force report in month 26, an extraction from a cell, A non-compliant inmate, 43 seconds from entry to restraint. You describe it in procedural language: resistance encountered, appropriate force applied, medical staff notified. It is accurate. It is also incomplete. But the report that is accurate and complete does not exist in this building. The report that exists is the one that fits the form. You get your first commendation at the 2-year review, demonstrated composure under pressure. Recommended for advancement consideration. You don't celebrate. You don't tell your wife until 3 days later, almost by accident. She says she's proud of you. You say thank you. You mean it. But something in the way you say it, flat, procedural, makes her pause before she smiles. You don't notice. Yet. It is not a correctional institution. That is the language on the letterhead. What it is structurally, operationally, honestly, is a pressure management system. 1,847 men under constant constraint, managed by 214 staff members across 3 shifts, operating inside a budget that is reviewed annually and cut biennially. You learn the numbers the way a surgeon learns anatomy. Tier 3 has 11 suicide watch protocols active at any given time on average. The mental health unit is staffed by 2 full-time counselors and 1 part-time psychiatrist who visits on Tuesdays. There are 63 documented gang affiliates in Building B alone, divided across 4 distinct organizational structures that maintain their own internal hierarchies more consistently than the administration maintains its own. Here is what they don't teach in the orientation. The facility runs because of informal agreements, not with the inmates, with the ones who run the inmates. There are 3 men in C Block who have been here for a combined total of 67 years. They are not the most violent. They are the most organized. When something is about to happen, a fight, a coordinated work stoppage, a contraband movement, there are signals. Signals you learn to read only after you've been here long enough to stop seeing it as chaos and start seeing it as a system with its own logic. You don't negotiate. That is too strong a word, and too dangerous a word if it ever appeared in any document. You observe. You anticipate. You create conditions. A transferred cell assignment positioned 3 days before a scheduled incident that never happens. An early recreation period extended by 20 minutes on a day when the pressure is building. Decisions that are technically within your discretionary authority. Decisions that are never random. This is called creative compliance. No supervisor teaches it. Every experienced officer practices it. The alternative is a facility that tips. And when facilities tip, the incident rate spikes. The administration investigates, and the officers on the floor, not the administrators, absorb the consequences. So you learn to manage without being seen to manage. By year 5, you are making $52,400 a year. You have not taken a vacation in 22 months. You have a savings account with $3,100 in it and a mortgage that requires $1,800 a month. You work mandatory overtime, on average 9 additional hours per week. You have stopped talking about work when you go home, not because you're hiding it, because there is no language for it that fits inside a normal kitchen at 6 p.m. Your daughter is 7 when she asks you what you do at work. You tell her you make sure everyone follows the rules. She accepts this. Children accept almost everything if delivered with sufficient calm. But you sit with that answer for longer than you should, because it is not wrong exactly. It is simply insufficient. The rules you enforce are not the rules on paper. The rules on paper are the architecture. What you enforce day after day is something more like gravity, invisible, constant, and completely indifferent to the individuals caught inside it. By year 6, your marriage is not broken. It is more precise than that. It is distant, not through conflict, through erosion. The quiet, consistent erosion of two people who used to inhabit the same emotional frequency, and now through no dramatic event, no single argument, no identifiable turning point, occupy different registers entirely. She asks about your day. You say fine. She describes hers. You listen, and you process it, and you respond appropriately. But you are aware with the same detachment you use on the tier that you are performing presence rather than inhabiting it. You don't know when that started. You know only that the same mechanism that allows you to walk into a cell extraction without elevated heart rate, the same calibration that keeps your voice flat when an inmate is 3 inches from your face, that mechanism does not switch off when you leave the parking lot. It follows you home. By year 8, you have seen 4 colleagues leave involuntarily. 2 resigned after incidents that were investigated but not prosecuted. 1 had a breakdown in the middle of a shift, not dramatic, just a quiet, total cessation of function, standing at the end of Tier 2, staring at the floor, until a supervisor found him and walked him out. 1 was terminated for a financial irregularity involving commissary accounts. You attend none of their going-away gatherings. There are none to attend. The facility absorbs their departure within 48 hours. New CO numbers assigned, schedules adjusted. The machine continues. Your social world has contracted to 12 people. 8 of them work in corrections. The other 4 old friends, a brother, a neighbor you see at intervals that have stretched from weeks to months to something you no longer track. You are not lonely. That is the detail that would concern a psychologist. You are not lonely because you have stopped expecting connection to feel the way it used to feel. You have recalibrated. T happens on an ordinary Tuesday. Not during a crisis, not during an incident. Nothing is wrong, technically. The tier is quiet. The morning count was clean. The temperature in the corridor is 61 degrees, same as it was on your first day, same as it will be when someone else stands here, in your place. You are walking the tier. Cell 34, cell 35, cell 36. And you stop. Not because
anything happens, because you realize with the clarity of something you have been approaching for years without knowing you were approaching it, that you have not been angry in 11 months. You have not been afraid in longer than that. You have not been surprised. Not genuinely, not in the way that means something has reached you, caught you off guard, broken through. You feel nothing that you haven't pre-approved. You stand at cell 36 and you look at the man inside. He has been here for 19 years. He will be here for 11 more. He is reading a paperback with a broken spine. He doesn't look up. He is not trying to make you uncomfortable. He is simply present, fully, completely, irreducibly present inside his 8 by 12-foot reality. And you have the thought that you cannot unhave. He is more real than I am right now, not freer, not better, just more present, more himself, more in contact with whatever it is he actually feels, even if what he feels is terrible. You finish the walk, you complete the shift. You write the incident report for a minor altercation in the yard, verbal dispute, de-escalated without physical intervention, no further action required. You drive home. You sit in your car in the driveway for 22 minutes. Your wife sees you through the kitchen window. She doesn't come out. She has learned over years to give you the driveway. It's a kindness. You know it's a kindness. And yet something about the precision of her accommodation, the way she has learned to leave space for you, the way you leave space on the tier makes the thing you realized in front of cell 36 go deeper. You are not the only one who has been managing without being seen to manage. You go inside, you eat dinner, you ask about your daughter's school project. You are present technically, but the illusion has fractured, not loudly, not with drama, just fractured. The way old glass fractures under cold, quietly, completely, without warning and without any possibility of reversal. You submit your retirement paperwork in the spring of your 14th year. The process takes 11 business days. You complete a 7-page form. You attend a 1-hour exit interview with HR where a woman who has never set foot on a tier asks you to rate your job satisfaction on a scale of 1 to 5. You write 3. She thanks you and stamps the form. Your last day is a Wednesday. The facility has a small tradition, a handshake from the shift supervisor, a card that goes around the break room for people to sign, 11 signatures, 3 people you recognize immediately. The others are faces that belong to the last 2 years, names you know but have not yet mapped into the geography of routine. You walk the Tier 1 final time. Not officially, your relief has already taken over, just for yourself. Cell 34, Cell 35, Cell 36. The man with the paperback has been released on parole 4 months ago. Someone new is in that cell, young, 26 maybe. He watches you the way you once watched the officer who had been here 11 years, calculating, measuring, trying to determine what kind of known quantity you are. You nod at him and keep walking. There is no ceremony at the gate. You sign out at 2:04 p.m. The guard on the desk, CO1891, someone you don't know well, scans your badge. The system logs your departure, 14 years, 3,276 individual shifts, approximately 47,000 hours inside these walls. The gate opens, you walk through. Behind you, the hydraulic door closes with the same low mechanical groan it made on your first morning. It has made that sound every single day for as long as you have been here, and it will make it every single day for as long as the building stands. It does not register your absence. By Thursday morning, CO2247 is standing at the entrance to Tier 3, Building B, 24 years old, scored an 83 on the written exam. The sergeant who processes his paperwork doesn't look at his face. The temperature in the corridor is 61 degrees. The morning count begins. The facility holds 1,847 men, and somewhere in the arithmetic of shifts and schedules and numbers and forms, somewhere in the machine that has already absorbed your 14 years without pausing, without acknowledging, without anything resembling reflection, you were there, and now you're not. And the machine continues, as it always has, as it always will.